with a goal at the 16-second mark, and he was chosen player of the game. Helmut Balderis is the flashiest of the Soviets, but his flashes were infrequent on Thursday night. And the big reason was the checking of Geyni, who added the winning goal to his usual superb defensive game. The NHL has no one to check this man. For Viktor Dobrovsky of the Soviet Union is today's referee, and many feel he is the biggest difference from Game 1 to Game 2. Today's Carl Martin.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Madison Square Garden. Today, the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League Players Association present the NHL Challenge Cup, the second game of the hockey series of the century, a confrontation between hockey's two greatest powers, the All-Stars of the National Hockey League and the national team of the USSR. Ladies and gentlemen, the NHL Challenge Cup. Welcome to the Soviet national team. In goal, wearing number 20, Tretьяк. Playing on defense, wearing number 6, Vasilia. Also playing on defense, wearing number 12, Sergei Starikov. And the forwards for the Soviets, wearing number 21, Viktor Tюменев. Wearing number 16, Vladimir Petrov. And the captain for the USSR, wearing number 13, Boris Mikhailov. And here is the starting lineup for the NHL All-Stars, selected by hockey fans across North America. In goal, wearing number 29 from the Montreal Canadiens, Ken Dryden. The defenseman, wearing number 19 from the Montreal Canadiens, Larry Robinson. Wearing number 26, Boris Salming. Playing at left wing, representing the Montreal Canadiens, number 22, Steve Shutt. And here is the captain of the NHL All-Stars, the Philadelphia 76ers, wearing number 16, Bobby Clark. And at right wing from the Montreal Canadiens, wearing number 10, Guy Lefleur. Ladies and gentlemen, may we present three outstanding personalities who will sing the national anthems for us today. To offer the national anthem of the Soviet Union, here once again is Georgian Gietlein. For the Canadian national anthem, once again, Roger Doucet. And for the first time in this series, singing the anthem of the United States of America, Gloria Loring. And now we ask you to rise for the singing of the national anthems. And now, in the tradition of international hockey, the players will exchange greetings on this historic occasion.
My name is Ron Finn. I'm one of the linesmen for today's game.
There we have Tretьяк, Vladislav Tretьяk, in the nets again. 24 shots the other night. 4 of them went in, and as Howie pointed out in our Thursday telecast, he had a bit of a shaky start. But Tretьяk is in goal for the Soviet Union. And at the other end is Ken Dryden, who removed a lot of doubts in some people's minds as to his performance against Soviet opposition. The other night he was fine, made some key stops, especially in the second period. Dryden gets the call again this afternoon from Coach Scotty Bowman. So we are just about set. Danny, the referee, is calling the players to center ice, so take over. Danny Golliver.
Okay, Dick. And good afternoon, everybody, from a sunny but frigid New York City. The second game is underway, and it's ripped in on that right side by Vasiliev. Solving in the corner. Mikhailov trying to get it. They bump along the boards. Tюменев, 21, is a new player for the Soviets, taking over from Harlamov. They keep it in. Tюменев is then bumped by Robinson. The All-Stars trying to get it out, and they roll it into the center ice area. Starikov to Vasiliev to Starikov on the left side. He's having difficulty against Clark to Lefleur. Lefleur trying to control it. It's along the board. In behind the net. Shot is knocked to the ice by Starikov. Back to the bench to Solving. The rebound, and Clark missed it. There's Lefleur into the corner. Tюменев in behind the net for the Soviets. He gives it off to Vasiliev, who pumps that pass off Mikhailov. Here's Lefleur working in on the left side. And he was bodied by Mikhailov. Good action to start the second game.
Seconds in 1979 at Madison Square Garden.
So we are ready for the face-off in fairly deep Soviet territory, and it goes to Vasiliev off Clark's stick into the center ice area. Mikhailov cutting it on the right side. Getting back with great speed was Geyni. There is Savad on the right side, lugging it out over the line, and what a hockey game he played for the NHL team on Thursday night. Kovalik said it was the best hockey game Savard has played, in his opinion, in 10 years. McDonald behind the net. He lost it momentarily. It comes along the boards to Sittlers, back to McDonald. Carroll coming up on the right side. There's Pervukin going in there to cover up for the Soviets. It goes to the other side. Into the corner, Petrov. Kapustin is now on the ice for the Soviets. They're beginning to lay the body on a bit in the corner. In behind the net, Vasiliev up on the left side. Back to Vasiliev. Into the center ice area. He's over the line. A high drifting shot off the glass. On the left side in the All-Star zone, a pass finds its way down the ice. And back for the Soviets go. And the All-Stars are making changes while the play goes on. Golikov was hit. Now coming in is Gillies around the net, and he lost it. Teams are changing while the play goes on. Alexander Golikov's pass taken finally by Trottier. It's up on the line to Robinson. The big bird coming up to Gillies. A shot nowhere near the net. Golikov, Alexander couldn't get it. Trottier said it right out in front. And a shot by Bossi low and wide. Now Alexander Golikov missed the pass. On the left side of Robinson, he drilled it into the corner. Pervukin going in there for the Soviets, back to the point. Makarov swings the pass to center, and is gobbled up and cleared back in by Solving. Into the corner for Pervukin, and that was called on the icing.
The other night in Game 1, certainly a big moment for young Barry Beck of the Colorado Rockies, and we talked to him about Thursday night's game prior to this one.
I was just very fortunate just to be playing, first of all, and I just wanted to make sure that if I did get a chance to play my position very well and not get caught out of position. It's very easy for me to play with Serge Savard, because I know if I ever get in trouble with the puck, I can just throw it over to Serge and he'll get the job done. So I was just out there and I was playing with a lot of confidence, and I think that helped me very much. And Scotty Bowman expressed a lot of confidence in my game before the game, so I had a feeling that I could do the job, and I just needed a chance to play.
well, do the job he did. Then he face off in the NHL zone.
Soviets, everybody up for the face-off. Varnakov, Kovin, Skvortsov. The line for the Soviets. Geyni lugged it into the center ice area. He had difficulty against Babinov. Now he and Kovin got mixed up on the line. Over on the other side. Fedorov knocked it out off a stick down on the right side. Back in, Robinson giving it off, and it's Salming getting it out over the line. No score here in the opening period. Fired in over the line. Fedorov knocked it to the corner. Salming is back there. He winds it up on the left side. Shot is belted on the line. Lefleur couldn't pick it up. Back in there. Delayed offside whistle is called off. It was lugged to center and cleared in by Salming. Into the corner. It's played up on the right side by Babinov. Skvortsov couldn't get it. Here's Lefleur. There's a shot by Dion. It was on, but handled by Tretьяк. Salming pumped it back in there. There's a shot. It hit a leg. It went off shut stick. Salming has it back at the All-Stars line. Feeds it ahead for Dion. This could be icing against the NHL All-Stars.
And now let's go down to our studios. Join Dave Hodge.
I cleared up very quickly. I'm happy it was. It was a lot less of a problem than I thought.
We don't need another delay. Let's get back to the game.
From the face-off in the All-Star zone. Starikov playing it ahead. Soviets have Zhluktov-Kapustin and Balderis. It's cliché to say and very obvious to everybody that in a three-game series, the second game has to be pivotal. We mention it because it's this fact that's obvious, that if the All-Stars win today, they win the series. A Soviet victory or a tie will set up the situation for an all-out series decider tomorrow in the third game. Vasiliev over to Balderis, who was tied up and stymied in that first game, largely through the checking of Geyni. Now it's kept in. Zhluktov passed it back. Balderis trying to get in position. Kapustin couldn't pick it up. There's Balderis. Back to Kapustin. There's the shot. It was wide. Soviets have some pressure here. Kapustin trying to center it. It went off Perro's stick. Starikov clearing it back in there. Now it's out over the line, down into Soviet territory. Back there is Starikov. Starikov handing it off to Vasiliev. He picks his way out on the left side. Pass goes on the right wing. Mikhailov is on. He centered it right in front. And Savard was there to clear it. Soviets have made changes while the play goes on. Tюменев is on. Mikhailov. Now the All-Stars making changes. At the Soviet line, ahead to Mikhailov on the right side. He's over the line. There's the shot. And it was called on the offside.
Live from New York, this is the Challenge Cup.
From Chevrolet.
Face off outside the All-Stars blue line. 14 minutes and 27 seconds left in the opening period. There is no score in the game. Just the one shot on goal by the All-Stars. Mikhailov jamming it on the boards. The face-off will be in All-Stars territory.
Bobby, there's Denny Potvin, his first appearance.
And Guy Lapointe also, Dick.
That's right.
We're out there together, and two pretty good hockey players.
Scotty's obviously going to go with the sixth defenseman. I know he likes to do that with the Canadians as often as he can when he has six who are healthy, and especially when you are playing back-to-back games.
That's right. It's easier on the players, and I've seen Scotty do that many, many times.
Soviets with the defense playing up. Bilялетdinov is out on defense. Now they back into the center ice area. Stars coming up. There's Perro. Takes a look. The pass went off the leg. Pervukin is the other defenseman for the Soviets. Now the Soviets in the center ice area. Mikhailov to Tюменев. Tюменев takes his time. He's back deep in his own zone. To the other side to Pervukin. Now into the corner. Pervukin watched by McDonald. Mikhailov has it on the left wing at center. Tюменев is coming up. Watch him, and the pass went off his stick along the board. Perro decides to lug it out himself, twisting and turning into the center ice area to the Soviet line. Great work to Sittlер, and he fired a booming back over the glass.
And again this afternoon, Darryl Sittler playing on left wing alongside Farrell and Lanny McDonald. Just to recap the NHL scratches, not in uniform, from the roster, Ron Greshner, Robert Picard, Don Marcotte, Anders Hedberg, Ulf Nielsen, goaltender Tony Esposito.
Lining up for the face-off, we have Salming and Robinson playing up. Shutt rifles a shot wide by 3 or 4 feet. And, of course, the ruling in this series is that at the slightest provocation, the goalie can hold the puck and there's no penalty. From the face-off, Shutt couldn't get the good wood on it. Now Dionne to Shutt. He tried to pass it back. And the Soviets taking over. They headman the puck. Going down at the line is Salming. He stopped his man. Here's Lefleur. That pass went off a stick. Bobinov finally got it out to Vladimir Golikov. He cleared it in. Into the corner on the boards. They fight for possession. They jostle there again. Makarov is getting just for the shot. And a hard shot and the rebound hit the side of the net. Now Makarov again. And he rattled that one off the leg. Back into the center ice area. Dionne over to Shutt. He stumbled against Bobinov. Bobinov firing it out on the right side. Golikov rolled it ahead. Here's Lefleur picking it up. He watches his check. He lost it. Lefleur again goes after it. Fedorov turning at the Soviet line. Ahead it goes to Makarov. Makarov over on the far left side. Bobinov to Kapustin. He dropped it back to the line. Now Fedorov coming up on the right side. He cleared it in. And Gillies belted Fedorov. Trottier couldn't pick it up. It's kept in. There's a shot. Dryden. Starikov right over to Kapustin. They score! Kapustin! I think it'll be he.
Now a happy Soviet bench as they take the 1-0 lead. The big rebound came off Dryden, but it went right back to the Soviet player. But Bobby on the line change, Team NHL never did get possession of the puck.
Starikov makes a great play here. The rebound was right back to him on the point. It's just a great play. Kenny got a piece of it, but trickled by him.
So take a look at it from a low-level angle right here, and off to the right side. The puck is fired, as Bobby mentioned. Dryden got a piece of it. It's 1-0 the Soviets.
Now back over on the other side to Savard. His pass hit the referee. Here's the announcement on the goal. Gillies centering it in front. Bossi couldn't get control. Back it comes. And a shot just wide by Gillies. There's Beck firing it around the net. Savard at the point, keeping it in. It's kicked to the line by Vasiliev, who lost his stick in over the line. Skvortsov took the shot off the leg. It's finally back into Soviet territory. Vasiliev to the other side. The Starikov back into the center ice area. Skvortsov dropping it back. Vernakov jammed out of the play. Skvortsov to Starikov over the other side to Vasiliev. There's a shot. A low sizzling drive wide. Barber is bumped on the board. But the Soviet player Kovac got the worst of it. Here's Gaidy going in. And a brilliant save by Tretьяк. Soviets starting out. They pump it through the center ice area. Big Petrov going down and bumping with Savard. And it's called for icing.
This game between the NHL All-Stars and the Soviet national team is coming to you from New York. Well, there's the goal scorer, Sergei Kapustin, who's done very well in competition against National Hockey League opposition. He's given the Soviets a 1-0 lead here today.
Petrov against Sittler on the draw, along the boards. It's cleared out to the line. Tюменев at the line, a pass to the right side. Shoved ahead by Mikhailov, and McDonald scampers to the far side. Soviets kept it in, and then it's bounced down the ice. Bilялетdinov is back there, and it is icing again against the All-Stars of the National League.
Bobby, the Soviets here today are doing what impressed a lot of people the other night. They never stop skating. There is constant motion.
They're going all the time, Dick, and you may think you're beside a guy, you look and he's there, and then as soon as you turn away from him, he moves away from you. So you've always got to watch your man, especially in your end, because they never, ever, ever stop moving.
1-0 Soviet Union leading in this hockey game. Now there's Carroll, a skating dandy. This time he elects to hand it off to Robinson to the other side to Salving off the board. And again, it'll be icing called against the All-Stars. Dick, I want to ask Bobby a question if we have time here. I noticed in the game on Thursday night that the National Hockey League players got away from dumping the puck from center ice, and against European competition they seem to lug it in, and I like that aspect.
Why does that happen? Well, I think it's, I don't know why it happens, Danny, but right now against the Soviets, they're doing, I think, what we should be doing. They're throwing it in, and they practice this all-day practice just to threw it in and went in after it. And they're also keeping their defensemen in deep. The puck come out that left side, and Starikov stayed in. Usually they'd be backing off, but they're keeping their defensemen in, and they practiced that the whole practice yesterday.
Face off to the right of Dryden. The shot's on goal. USSR 3, NHL 2. 1-0 for the Soviets. Barber went down. Makarov clearing it into the corner. He had an excellent scoring opportunity. Number 24, Makarov, did the last time he was out there. Point-blank range shot, and Dryden got in front of it. Now it is Robinson forechecking the Golikov and Makarov for the Soviets. They keep it in. Now Salving on the board. Vladimir Golikov passed it to the slot. Geinie got rid of it, and the Soviets certainly dominating at this particular stage in the hockey game. Now Barber into the center ice area. He cleared it in, and Scotty Bowman making changes. Now the puck in the Soviet zone. In there goes shot. He centered it, and it's gobbled up by Vladimir Golikov. Ahead to Alexander, his brother, on the right wing at center against Lefleur. Dryden clearing it up on the board. Shot coming out with Dionne and Lefleur. Now Dionne picks up a loose puck going in on the right side, and he lost it. Makarov coming out. Lefleur in over the line, but stranded there was Dionne.
You are watching the Series of the Century live from Madison Square Garden. Calvin and Bobby Orr in the broadcast booth here at Madison Square Garden. Team NHL with only 2 shots on goal in the first 11 minutes and 15 seconds of the game. Soviets at 3.
It is Zhluktov at center with Kapustin and Balderis for the Soviets. Lefleur, Shutt, and Dionne for the All-Stars. Here's Lefleur at the line. Dionne was belted by Kapustin after clearing it in. Now from the point, Guy Lapointe. Dionne centered it right out in front. And Vasiliev very effectively covered up on it against Shutt. Now Balderis handing it off to Kapustin, back to Balderis. He swings the back pass to Kapustin. He tried to center it from the corner against Potvin. They jostle vigorously. Back it goes. Starikov is shot, and he's wide with it. Vasiliev is the other defenseman playing out. The Soviets got it to the side. Potvin to the other side. Now into the corner. They try to get it back. It comes to the far side. Vasiliev backhands it in there along the board. Down on the ice. Potvin along with Balderis. And this is the 5th time that the NHL All-Stars have been called for icing. What do you read in that?
They are forechecking the heck out of us right now, Danny. They're doing a great job forechecking, and like I said earlier, their entire practice yesterday was spent on forechecking, shooting the puck in, going in after it, keeping their defensemen up, and that's exactly what they're doing so far in the game.
Face off to the left of Dryden. 1-0 for the Soviets. It goes to the far side. Matchey got away from the check. He didn't get away from it. There's a penalty coming up for cross-checking, and that will go against Kovin.
This is live coverage of game number 2 for the Challenge Cup. Vladimir Kovin, number 9, Soviet Union, and he is off for cross-checking, and there you see the reason why. On the power play, Team NHL with 4 Islanders, the Tretьяк line, Dennis Potvin plus Guy Lefleur on the right point.
Face off just inside the Soviet line. Dennis Potvin flipped it in there. Pervukin sends it down the ice. Let's pick up the Soviet players. The Golikovs are up front. Bilялетдинов is on defense with Pervukin. They're doing the forward checking. That has been their pattern of performance very successfully so far in this hockey game. The Soviets have it. Now the Stars are coming out. Led by Potvin. To the right side it goes. Here's Bossi feeding it back in there. Loose puck in front. And it's cleared to the line. Not out. Bossi has it knocked off the stick, but it was gloved ahead.
You know, we were told, Bobby, that the Soviets don't have specialists. If it's your turn, you kill a penalty, you play in the power play. I don't know. We can cancel that memo, I think, because these Golikov brothers killed the penalties all night Thursday. They're out there again.
Two fine hockey players. To me, they were the better players for the Soviet Union Thursday night. Up to this point, Danny, Dick, they're just skating the heck out of it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
A minute and a dozen seconds left in the penalty. Now Lefleur was checked. Alexander Golikov flipping it. Potvin from behind the net trying to get this Stars power play into effective operation. Old Gillies was hit just outside the line. Now it's center right in front. They score! Bossi! What a play Trettiak makes it.
Oh, yeah, down the left side. Brian Trettiak. That is 1-1. Mike Bossi, 2 games, 2 goals. Isn't he a sniper? But you're right, Bobby. The big move is Trettiak on the left board.
And watch how strong Trettiak is on the boards here. Watch this. They couldn't hold him. Makes a great play to Bossi, and Bossi can put the puck in the net. Trettiak gets a piece of it. 1-1.
All right, we'll take a look here. As did Ken Dryden on the Soviet goal. Trettiak does get a chance. A piece of it, as Bobby mentioned, but it's off the skate, through his leg. And the power play pays off. Mike Bossi.
Clark Gillies made a great play right at center ice to get the puck ahead to Trettiak. It was a fine goal. Just a great goal.
Islanders goal all the way up the ice. So it's 1-1.
So the score tied at a goal. Bobinov on defense with Fedorov. It was cleared in by the Soviets. Now Dion being watched by Colvin. Back to Colvin. He fired and a remarkable save by Dryden. That was close in. I don't think it hit anybody on the way. Now back. Fedorov at the line, keeping it in. There's that pesky diminutive line for the Soviets. Finally, the Stars get it out. Sittlers clearing it ahead, and down it goes on the right side. Vernakov to Bobinov. Behind the net into the corner. Fedorov up on the left wing for Vernakov. And it's called on the offside.
So the scoring play again for Team NHL. There's the youngster who got it, Mike Bossi. Trettiak and Gillies assisting at 13:35.
Bobby, a tremendous scorer.
Varnakov made a heck of a play to Colvin, and Kenny Dryden. It didn't hit anybody. Kenny made the big save. Here it comes now. But Varnakov here makes a great move, great play to Colvin, and Kenny made a super save.
Vasiliev. Played back in by Mikhailov to Vasiliev. He gets it ahead to the line. Tюменев over on the left side. Intercepted by Perro. White shot coming in. There it is, the shot. And that goes into Trettiak, but I think it went off the Soviet player. A dangerous play. Now into the corner. They draw for possession.
Well, you just saw Kenny Dryden make a big stop. We asked him before the game, do you change your style against Soviet opposition?
No, not really. I think that I don't really know the Soviet team well enough to know whether I should change or not. So while noticing perhaps a few things that they do extremely well and trying to recognize those, essentially I try to play the same way as I would in a regular season game.
Ken Dryden now has a 4-game unbeaten streak against Soviet opposition.
Despite the fact we have a total of 8 shots in just over 5 minutes left in the period, there's been a fair amount of action in this period. There's Lefleur to the other side, bumping with Tюменев. The Stars keeping it in. Vasiliev around the net, lugging it to the right side. One hand on the stick, and he was checked by Perro. And the Stars send it back in there. Starikov. Let's see a penalty for hooking, I think, coming up. Dombrowski is coming over to assess the penalty.
The Challenge Cup is coming to you live from New York. NHL's goal coming while they had a power play. First chance now for the Soviet Union.
And on the power play, Balderas, Zhluktov, Fedorov, Vasiliev, and Kapustin. Clark and Geyni up front. Geyni is checking Fedorov. Score tied at a goal. Now the Soviets on the power play and a wave of 5 into the center ice area over the line. Balderas took the pass along the boards. Now it's loose. Here's Geyni breaking out on that left side. He's checked by Fedorov. Geyni carries on partially, stays with it, and a tremendous effort by Bob Geyni.
Well, Bobby, you know the Soviets are strong. Scotty Bowman talked about it after the first.
Players do, and he couldn't keep a hold of Bobby. So Bobby's very, very strong.
Face off outside the Soviets line. A high-rising shot by Salming. Fedorov hands it to Vasiliev ahead on the right side to Balderas. Flipped off back to Balderas and over the line. And it was called on the offside.
This is a very, very important penalty for us to kill off, Dick. The NHL Stars have not played really that great. I think the Soviets have dominated this first period to this point. We're tied 1-1. If we can kill this off and win with a 1-1 tie, it'll be good going into that second period. We should be all right.
Bobby, shots directed at the goal. Priz you out on that one. The Soviets have at 12. The NHL 7 shots at goal. Even now, 4 apiece. Look on that tablet, introduce myself in both languages. The game.
Now Savard failed to clear it out. Looked off to the corner. He's jammed into the boards by Savard. Vasiliev against Geyni, and it's out over the line. And the time remaining in the penalty now exactly a minute with 3:42 left in the opening period. The score tied at a goal. Here's Balderas, the great skater, into the slot, getting set. He fired it. The rebound, and it's cleared to the line, not out. Vasiliev fired a screen shot, and luckily perhaps for the All-Stars that was wide. Fedorov swinging it back into the corner to Kapustin. His centering pass blocked by Clark. It's jammed off the corner boards by Salming. The Soviets keeping it in. Into the corner, Kapustin behind the net it goes. It's a centering pass, and Savard against Zhluktov covers up.
There in the penalty box, 25 seconds left to serve. That play by Balderas, Bobby. That's the first time that he has really, you might say, done anything in the series. He was very ineffective against Geyni's checking Thursday night.
He's such a great hockey player. You know, it's just a matter of time before he comes. And he put on a little stick handling there for him. But he's very, very talented. It's just a matter of time. So our penalty killers are doing a fantastic job on this one.
25 seconds left in the penalty. There's the rebound to A.Golикov, and he almost fired it home. Into the Star zone again. Finally, Robinson whips it down the ice. Makarov from the A.Golикov, Bilялетdinov, and the other attacker on the power play is Pervukin for the Soviets. Now Robinson slashes it out. It goes to the right side, and the penalty now has expired. It's rolled into Soviet territory. There's Perro going down against Pervukin in the corner. It's centered from a sharp angle by Sitttler. Bilялетdinov coming down on the left side. Now Robinson. Perro firing it out on the left wing. Here is Sitttler. Pass goes to the other side, and Pervukin has it for the Soviets ahead to Vladimir Golikov, over to Alexander. The shot, rebound is left there after Dryden lost his balance. Now right in front, Pervukin wrapped that one off Denny Potvin's leg. And again, great pressure by the Soviets with a minute and 55 seconds left in the opening period. And they have been, I would think, the better hockey club in this first period, although the score is tied at a goal. Now they fight for possession in Soviet territory. Gilly fires! They score!
Rick, I'm not sure. It may have gone out to Soviet defenseman. Mark Gilly's made a good play. This has been a super line for the NHL. A 3 from the Islanders. Now we'll go to Gilly's right here. Okay.
Now, sure.
shoots it towards the net.
Hard to tell from that replay.
They got a piece of it.
Might get a better look at it here, Bobby, if the camera can follow right through to the goal crease. No, don't think so. Puck's in the net by the time he gets there. We'll wait for the announcement on it.
However,
it's in the net.
I'll tell you, that's a tough line. Just three great hockey players.
Brian gets the goal. Brian Trottier.
So the Stars 2, the Soviets 1. Soviets coming back. It's centered. Colvin was rammed in on the board by Beck, and they jam in the corner, and I would think that the Stars are rather fortunate to be leading.
Okay, let's take a look here, Bob. We might see the goal was awarded to Trottier. Follow the bouncing puck kind of hard at this distance, but we'll see.
Look at Trottier in front of that. They can't hold on there. Right. He's just so strong. He really surprises. Trottier surprises me as his strength. I didn't think he was so big or so strong, and he's so strong, and he's got a great upper body.
Soviets, everybody up. Skvortsov took a shot, hit a leg, and Savard jumped to pass up on the left side. Geinie going after Babinov. To the other side on the boards, they jam in there. They might get a whistle here. Let's see. Yes, they do.
A little bit of try play along the board. Fedorov and Bill Barber are told by people a little closer to the scene than we are that the puck, the last object it seemed to hit prior to going into the net was Tretchak's stick. Soviets have outshot the NHL 8-5 at this point.
And Danny, I agree. We are fortunate to be ahead 2-1 right now. The Soviets have played very, very well this first period.
You notice in the first game, again, I'm going to put you on the spot and recall, I thought Tretьяк did not help his team as much as he had in the past. He stayed in the goal too much. He didn't get out. Is that right?
Get back to it in a minute?
Okay. On the face-off, it goes to the left side. Mikhailov kicks and then shoots. And there is now less than a minute to go in the opening period. The NHL All-Stars 2, USSR 1 back into Soviet territory. Tюменев around the net, played it into the corner. There's a pass. Mikhailov couldn't knock that down. It was high. Came to Starikov. Robinson against Tюменев. Robinson swings it. Mikhailov keeps it in. Robinson gets another chance. Now Sittler's pass is blocked. Puck in the center ice area. Petrov fades over to the left side and is forced back in by the forechecking of Sittler. Vasiliev ahead to Mikhailov. He almost broke through there. That's one of their great plays. They love to pull it off. Headmanning that puck through the middle. In the first game, the NHL players cut off that area in the middle. Now here's Gillies going in and is called on the offside. Okay, but Mr. President.
I'd agree with you, Danny, that if a goaltender doesn't come out of that net when they shoot around, I can remember in '76 playing against the Soviet Union and the Czechs. That was one of our players to shoot around because we knew that the goaltenders would not come out of the net to cut it off. And we'd be shooting around one way and have our wingers coming in the other way. But when you get a goaltender not doing that for you, it's very, very difficult.
Okay, Bobby, that's the end of the first period. 2-1 for the NHL All-Stars.
Well, they have adjusted the shots. They've done that on us a couple of times in this series, but they make it 7-5 now, and that is official. The goal scorers for the Soviets, they opened the scoring. Kapustin at 8:10, and it was Mike Bossy on a power play at 13:35, and then Brian Trottier at 18:21. And the line of Bossy, Trottier, and Gillies totally in on both goals. So quite an afternoon so far for the New York Islanders recently. Score at the end of the first period. NHL All-Stars 2, the Soviet national team 1. This is Game 2 for the Challenge Cup.
The Challenge Cup Series is coming to you live from New York's Madison Square Garden. The National Hockey League is in front of the USSR by a score of 2-1. There are many great stars in the National Hockey League lineup. We talked to one of them, Clark Gillies, but we like to identify a little more closely with some of the great players from the Soviet Union who have made the trip and are playing in this series. And one of the best-known defensemen over the years, considered one of the strongest men in hockey, is Valery Vassiliev.
Valery
Vasilyev is acknowledged as a major pillar of the Soviet defense. He began to play at age 10 in his hometown of Gorky, where he lived right next to the Dynamo Stadium. Vasilyev worked his way up through the boys' team, then the juniors, and finally to the Gorky Torpedo team of the Soviet Major League. In 1967, Vasilyev was invited to join the Dynamo team in Moscow, where he still plays today. Since 1970, Vasilyev has been a member of the Soviet national team. And so besides lots of medals, he has lots of photo memories of his trips to other hockey countries. And there he is with Canada's Soviet hockey interpreter, Aggie Kuklowitz. Valery and his wife, Tatiana, live in an apartment in Moscow. They've been married 7 years and have a 5-year-old daughter, Lena, who was away at her grandparents when our cameras visited. Vasilyev is in his 3rd year at the Krupskaya Teachers Training Institute in Moscow. Commenting on how a good defenseman should play, Vasilyev says, the defenseman must be tough. The attacker must fear you or be concerned about you. But the defenseman must keep cool. Toughness should not be confused with roughness.
Ничего.
And girls, how do you like that fancy samovar? And those colorful wooden bowls in Tatiana Vasilyev's kitchen? Vasilyev is said to be one of the strongest players in hockey, which obviously helps him out in the close checking. But he's also quite good at launching an attack with a quick pass, or even an occasional rush. Like most North American hockey players, Vasilyev likes to relax with music. At age 29, he's a veteran of the Soviet defense, and eventually will probably be remembered as one of the all-time great blue liners in Soviet hockey history.
Okay, Dick. 2-1 the score, NHL. Leading the USSR. Scores Bossi and Trottier for the NHL. Kapustin for the Soviets. The sports story-studded garden known as Madison, located in Midtown Manhattan, is a sellout again for this game. We have, of course, a fair number of Europeans here, many Canadians in attendance, and we have them from all over the United States. And yet there is not an American-born player here. I heard Jim Boughton mention that last night. Not on the ice. But there was an American on the ice the first game, Robert Merrill. He wasn't here today. And getting back the national anthems, I thought Roger Doucette centered for 2 great wingers. Now into the corner, they hold it on the board.
Today received treatment. He's out there today.
From the face-off, in the star zone, there's a pass from the right side by McDonald, intended for Perro down the ice, and that is the 6th icing of the game against the NHL Stars.
But that's the nice thing, that really was a pass that went astray, not something to relieve the pressure.
I think Scotty's plan now, Dick, is to, when the puck is in the far corner, get the winger quickly on the opposite board and fire it around like that, and they're going to come out of there pretty easily if they do that.
Soviets with Petrov, Tюменев, and Mikhailov. From the face-off, the Stars starting out quickly with the flashy Perro on the left side. He's over the line. Perro puts on the brakes. He takes it up, winds up for the shot. He scores!
Well, that makes it 3-1, Bobby, and the puck hit something or somebody on the way, I'm sure.
I think Tretьяк got a piece of it. Here's a case of not taking the man in your end. You can't let Gilbert Perreault float around in your end. Everybody goes away from him, he blasts it. I think it goes right in. Tretьяк gets a piece of it. Between the legs.
All right, we'll get a look at it here from the corner camera, and
you'll see two skaters go away from him. There's one.
Right.
About one skater.
Oh, there's the other one right there.
Right there. But you can't let Joe Perreault. Oh, it did. You're right.
Might not be his goal. Somebody was wrapped up, and I didn't see who it was. Perreault shot the puck. I thought that, and I must confess, I don't know who that was, wrapped up in the arms of the defenseman. Oh, Perreault gets it. I don't know about that.
But you were right, Dick. Good eyes.
Just getting them focused at this distance. Well, Danny, that could be a big one. 27 seconds to go ahead, 3-1.
And the Stars have maximized to an alarming degree productivity on shots. 6 shots, 3 goals, batting .500. That's very high in hockey. Now Pervukin around the net, plays it to the far side. Golikov, Alexander missed the pass, and Savard cleared it on the right side of the Soviet line. Pervukin returning it, and Beck has it. Shoots it on the left side, and it hit Barber, who was going to the bench.
Team NHL lucky there, perhaps, to get called for too many men. Well, there's Perreault, who gets credit for the goal. Bobby will see it again. This will illustrate better your theory here.
You know, you just can't skate by. Well, you can't skate by anyone in your end, especially Gilbert Perreault. I think you were right. That was tipped in front of the net too, Dick.
On the face-off, it is Beck clearing it, and it hit the top of the boards at the Soviet bench, so the face-off will be back in the Stars zone.
So the official call on the goal, Perreault from Sittler at 27 seconds here in the second period. 3-1, Team NHL.
Very big goal for his Dick.
Makarov, Alexander Golikov, Vladimir Golikov up front for the Soviets. Now from the face-off, it was almost picked off in front of the net. On the right side, the Stars try to get out. Along the boards it goes and hopped over the boards, and a lot of whistles in the early minutes of the second period.
All the times I've seen the Soviets play, I've never, ever seen them keep their defensemen in like they're keeping them in now.
From the face-off, there's Lapointe shooting into the far side. The Soviets try to keep it in. They partially succeed. It's into the corner, and there's Potvin clearing it to the other side. Bossi couldn't pick it up. It's back into Soviet territory. Bilялетдинов is back there. And they bump in the corner. Now Lapointe looking at a high-flying puck. Golikov is over the line. He drops it to Makarov to Golikov. A high-rising shot on the rebound with Dryden sprawled, and he holds it.
Well, one of the stars of this series certainly has been young Mike Bossi of the New York Islanders. As we look at Guy Lapointe, and boy, he has been shaken up as a result of that last rush. The trainer is out there. Norm Mackey of the Atlanta Flames is the trainer for Team NHL, and there he is talking to Guy, who hasn't seen that much service here this afternoon. On the ice a couple of times in the first period. He hasn't played a game, Bobby, if I'm right here. I believe 3 weeks ago tonight, the last time that Lapointe was in game action in the NHL. He had a touch of influenza, actually a touch of pneumonia, really, I guess, and that caused him to miss all of that action. Here's a back of the net look at that last exchange. The puck comes up over the net as they came down 3-on-2 on Lapointe and Potvin. And Lapointe drops, and he got the puck. That's what it was.
They put that late man all the time, dropping behind.
The Soviets again, everybody up. The Stars are leading here early in the second period, 3-1. There's a pass on the right side intended for Barber. Fedorov is back there, and it's icing again against the NHL.
The Challenge Cup, the series of the century. He is in attendance this afternoon, obviously, here at Madison Square.
From the face-off, it goes into the corner. There is Salming. He lobbed it into the center ice area. My, oh my, the NHL just getting that puck and clearing it down the ice.
That's the first time, though, Danny, that they've literally cleared it down the ice. The other icings in this period, there were 2 others where the result of passes that went astray, but nevertheless, it's happening. There is number 4, Sergei Babinov. He's 22 years of age. He did not play in Game 1 Thursday. He was an extra man.
It's Kovin at center, Varnakov on one wing, Skvortsov on the other. It is Salming with it. He played it off the boards. The Soviets keeping it in. In behind the net. They score! Kovin, or rather Varnakov, finally knifing that one through there. And it is 3-2. Number 10, Varnakov.
That's one thing you don't want to do with the Soviets is give the puck up in your end, and that's what happened. I think it was Salming tried to shoot it up the boards, and it hit something on the boards and came right back to Varnakov. He made a great play, and Salming went down to block it. I don't know if we're going to see that.
Same kind of a play Bob Gainie made at that same end the other night. But Team NHL never got organized, Bobby, on those 2 or 3 face-offs. They iced the puck, and right there, Salming just threw it up along the boards. There wasn't anybody there that was near to it except the Soviet player. 3-2.
Skvortsov gets the assist, and the Soviets are back into the thick of things, just the differential of the 1 goal. Now there is another stoppage in play. The puck over the boards just outside the Soviet line. The shots on goal. USSR 8-6 for the NHL. There you are, Dick.
Well, you're right, Bobby. Threw it right up there. Salming in front of the net. He had thrown the puck around on the boards, and they were caught.
Zhluktov with Kapustin. And Balderis, the line for the Soviet. In the Soviet zone, it comes on the left side. Kapustin to the far wing to Balderis with Zhluktov. Here's Balderis over to Kapustin. He overskated it. The Stars roll it into Soviet territory. Back there quickly, Starikov. And it's clear to center by Zhluktov. Savard feeding it in on the left side for Gainie. Into the corner, chopped around the net. Starikov has it for the Soviets. A long pass to the line. Kapustin, he got away from Shutt. A pass goes off the leg of Lefleur. It's slapped to the boards by Beck. Now at the line, the Soviets firing back into the corner, and Beck is around the net. To the right side. They fight for possession. Clark hands it off to Savard up on the left side. That misses Steve Shutt. Down the ice it goes. Starikov touches it and is icing against the NHL Stars.
4 players in the Soviet team not in uniform. There they are, sitting together, watching this one. There is Harlamov. As we zero in on a long-time great Soviet star. He was shaken up by a Larry Robinson check late in the game on Thursday night, suffered a severe Charlie horse, and is not in action. He has more points against NHL opposition than anyone else in the Soviet lineup. Bobby Clark leads the Team NHL lineup in that regard. That's going into this series.
60 minutes and 35 seconds. Remaining in the second period, 3-2 for the NHL. Dryden catching that sharp angle shot, and again they line up for the face-off in deep Canadians territory against Dryden to his left. And this is his second game. Of course, he was in goal, performed rather admirably. Not too much work, but some brilliant saves in that opening game. Now Perro coming down, he slides the pass, and it goes hopping over the boards to the left of Tretьяк.
This period is past the 3.5-minute mark, and the only shot that Scotty Bowman's Team NHL has managed is the one that went in. Perro getting credit for the goal, and assist going to Sittlers.
Now they jam in the circle. It's lugged into the center ice area. Tюменев over the line, dropped it into the slot. It's cleared. Robinson chopped it out on the right side. And I don't know, that puck is alive. Over the board.
The ice, I think, Danny, is starting to tell. Live from New York, this is the Challenge Cup.
Period here at Madison Square Garden. NHL 3 and the Soviet 2. The Stars get the draw. They clear it on the boards. Bossi is having difficulty. Finally, he gets it into the center ice area. Vladimir Golikov over to his brother. The shot, the rebound, and it's cleared away by LaPointe. Soviets keeping it in. Golikov winds up with a shot, and it goes off riding over the glass in the corner.
Team NHL using the boards, as you mentioned, right off the bat here in the second period, but the Soviets are reading it perfectly.
They've got their defensemen coming in, pinching and doing a heck of a job. If we're going to shoot it around the boards, we've got to shoot it pretty hard so that winger can tip it by that defenseman coming in. If you shoot it too easy, it's just making it too tough for that winger.
Now it's into the center ice area. Soviets, Alexander Golikov having his problems against Trottier, who chopped it in, and it was called on the offside.
Young Mike Bossy's been a fine player for Team NHL. A goal here today. We asked him prior to the game about his feelings about the big one on Thursday.
I was very excited about being in that game against the Russians. It's my first time playing against them with a pro team, and playing with 24 other stars in the NHL was very exciting for me, and I'm looking forward to the two next games that we're playing against them.
Vasiliev bumping him with Shutman down. Vasiliev gets the pass back, comes down to the line. Skvortsov takes a shot. It's around the net to the other side. The Soviets getting it back to Vasiliev. Knocked down by Robinson, who kicked it into the center ice area. Now Starikov ahead to Vernakov. Vernakov back to his own line, over to Starikov up on the wing, and on it for the Stars. Dion took the pass. Here's Robinson getting it. He scores! Robinson! You take advantage of the chances. 2 shots, 2 goals in the second period.
Great average. That was just a super goal by Larry. Moves the puck. Dion moves it to Lefleur. Robinson keeps going. And watch how he cuts out here. The big fella right out. Tretьяк. You come in like that on a Cheevers or an Esposito or a Dryden, he's going to cut you down. He's going to poke check the puck right off your stick.
He moved back into the crease.
Didn't come out at him at all. If he had come out, there was no way Larry would have gone through there.
Robinson from Lefleur and Dion at 5:06.
Great play.
4-2. Team NHL. A very strange type of game when you look at the score and then look at the play.
It is now NHL 4, the Soviets 2. Soviets coming back to the attack. Balderis to the other side, and a shot fired right on. Pervukin took a shot. He hit Balderis with it. Savard trying to clear it on the right side. Now here's Barber. His pass broken up, and Clark carries on in ahead to Barber. Into the corner. Bilялетdinov knocks it to the side. He's covering up in front. Now the Soviets starting out. Zhluktov with Kapustin. Kapustin over the line. He dropped it back. Now closing in to the front. Bilялетdinov. Bilялетdinov. He is back. Gets it into the corner. They fight for it along the boards, and it's cleared into the center ice area, back into the Soviet territory. Pervukin to Bilялетdinov. Back to Pervukin. Takes his time out over the line ahead. And Perro turns, comes back for the NHL All-Stars. Here is Perro. Perro working off the board, coming in front. Great work by Perro. Back it goes. McDonald to Beck. Into the corner behind the net to Perro. There's a shot by McDonald. And he ricocheted that off the leg. Good pressure here by the Stars. Now the Soviets starting up. Tumenev heading the line. Coming in with Mikhailov right in front. A shot and a scintillating save by Dryden. Zhluktov takes a shot, and Dryden got a piece of that. Here's Babinov. He cleared it into the corner, and Beck shoots it down the ice. And it is icing.
This game between the NHL All-Stars and the Soviet national team is coming to you from New York. Game 2 of the Challenge Cup Series in New York.
Now the Stars on the right side. Rink-wide pass. Bossy over for Gillies. Gillies jostling, going in there. Runs into Fedorov. Now it's to the side of the Soviets net in the corner. Bossy looking for a puck, and it's cleared out over the line by Fedorov. Here is Babinov. Over to Fedorov. Back it goes to the other side. Behind the net and coming out on the left side. Mikhailov. He's at center. Right wing pass. Back it goes to the corner. Mikhailov going in against Dryden. Mikhailov falling along with Salming. And it is Trottier. Trottier losing it. Pass set.
Salming's going to get an interference call, and for the first time in the series, we've got a bit of an altercation. There have been no coincidental penalties called to date through to this point in Game 2. And I think Salming gets the only call right here. You are watching the Series of the Century live from Madison Square Garden.
Cards content.
Interference call against Borja Salming, Bobby, right in front of the net, I believe this takes place.
Oh, he pulls him down. That's a call I think he had to make.
So the Soviets, with another excellent opportunity to move to within one goal, they have an explosive power play. Here's Pervukin. Over on the other side it goes. Bilyaletdin to the side of the net. The net is empty. Clark to Savard. Savard gets down into the center ice area. Then into Bilyaletdinov. And they bump rather heavily at the line. Makarov digging down on the left side. He's over the line. Here's the drop pass. Golikov, Vladimir to Pervukin. Over on the other side. Winding up for the shot. The rebound. That was a hard drive. Here's Pervukin. Pervukin has it knocked off his stick. Bilyaletdinov brought it back and cleared it at his own line to the other side. Pervukin took the pass from Makarov. Golikov lost it. Pervukin laying it to the other side. Bilyaletdinov finally got it ahead. It's over the line. Golikov waits back to Pervukin over on the other side. Into the corner. They take a look. Bilyaletdinov has it again to Makarov. Bilyaletdinov over to Pervukin. Bilyaletdinov again. Into the corner. They try to pass it in front. Puck is loose. And let's see, his stick makes contact. The stick is above the shoulder.
Soviets might complain a bit there because puck went from an NHL player to a Soviet player. Well, Valerie Harper in the crowd. Rhoda of television fame. She was here for the opener on Thursday as our sign man from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. He's here once more. Penalty to Salming. He had 31 seconds left. Spelled Valeri. Pretty good. Savard gets a hand. Well deserved. He's some power and strength out there.
So the Soviets still on the power play. 4-2 the score for the NHL All-Stars. And Robinson, who has the last Stars goal, losing it to Starikov. Ahead to Balderas. Balderas loses his balance, and Sitler cleared it down into Soviet territory. Starikov is back there for it. Kapustin coming back. Zhluktov and Balderas now in over the line for Kapustin, and he's broken up again by Sitler. Here's Salming coming back in over the line. Lanny McDonald going up, and he couldn't get it. Zhluktov to the other side. Long lead pass by Vasiliev. Down the ice it goes, and it is icing against the Soviets.
That's the first icing against the Soviets, and prior to the power play, the shot directed at the goal totally favored the Soviets, 27-12. It'll be more than that now. As far as the shots on goal are concerned, it's 15-7 in favor of the Soviets. And Bobby, when you get an outfit like Team NHL with all that firepower and just past the halfway mark of the hockey game, and had only 7 shots, tells you how the games are going.
Well, the Soviets are playing very, very well. I'm sure the NHL Stars will come on before the afternoon's over.
Face off in Soviet territory. A low shot just wide by Shutt. Vernikov, Colvin, Skvortska. That is the line for the Soviets. We have Dion, Lefleur, and Shutt for the Stars. Dion couldn't get by Colvin. Lefleur gets it loose. He's coming in against Babinov. Here's Lefleur dropping it back to Shutt. There's the shot. And Tretьяк was very alert and looked like the old-time Tretьяk on that one, kicking it out in rapier-like fashion. Now the Soviets. Ahead it goes. Skvortsov, he's in over the line. Jammed under the play and knocked to the ice by in the shot. Lefleur putting on the brakes. Takes another look. Fedorov ties them up. And the Soviets clear it down to the Stars line, and Robinson returns it to Soviet territory. Fedorov is back there in his car for icing.
Dick, on that last penalty against the NHL Stars, they were happy to let the Soviets handle that puck outside that box, and they really didn't have any good scoring opportunities. But Pervukin a couple times moved in from the point, and if the passes had been on his stick, they would have been in the net.
No, they were trying to set him up, but you're right. The box formation paid off for the NHL. Skvortsov in the 4 games with the Soviets, and we say hi back to you, the sign painters here at the Garden.
It is 4-2. The Stars leading in the second period, 8 minutes and 23 seconds left. Now the Soviets from their own line. Tюменев is over the line, back to Petrov. He tried to feed it back, and it's intercepted by Savard. Savard into the center ice area. Had trouble against Petrov. Mikhailov to Tюменев. He's chased behind the net by Lanny McDonald. McDonald, he belted Tюменев into the center ice area. Pervukin a long shot, no difficulty for Dryden on that. And Sitler intercepted by Petrov. And he whistles a shot knocked wide by Tюменев. That was an excellent scoring opportunity as Petrov intercepted in the slot position. Bilялетdinov along the board, fighting for possession with Sitler. And now in there is Tюменев, and the play is stopped.
Now there's the team captain of the Soviet National Club, Boris Mikhailov. 7 World Championship teams. He's 34 years of age, certainly a top veteran. And he scored their opening goal in this series on Thursday night. Bobby, I still can't get over some of those bad passes.
If the NHL Stars continue coughing up, we're going to be in trouble.
7 minutes and 35 seconds now remain in the second period. A 2-goal differential, 4-2 for the NHL All-Stars. There's Guy Lapointe fading to the left side, firing it to the line, stopped by Vasiliev, and then cleared back in by Tretьяк. Gillies trying to knock down Starikov pass, and this is going to be icing against the Soviets.
This is live coverage of game number 2 for the Challenge Cup. Look at Andrew Hedberg, and he is today alongside Tony Esposito.
Vladimir Golikov along with Makarov, the line for the Soviets. For the Stars, the Islanders line of Bossi-Trottье and Gillies. Makarov coming in over the line. Makarov fades to the right side. He was upended. Now on the right side, here's Bossi trying to get in front. And a good defensive play by Starikov. Well, they hold it on the boards in the corner. That man is a tremendous scorer whom you see there. Bobby, the puck seems to follow him at times, or he follows it.
Then he can put it in. He knows how to play the game.
I want to yell, "Let's go Islanders." That's the chant you hear when you're at the Nassau Coliseum for the Islanders' home game. They started here a minute ago, and that line went out there. Tretьяк, Bossi, and Gillies.
Lining up for the face-off to the left of Tretьяk. Gейni, Clark, and Barber to the line for the Stars. They have Robinson and Salming out of your picture. They are up inside on the points, ready to fire. But the Soviets, Fedorov to the other side, to Bobinov, bumping with Gейni. Clark was upended. Now here's Balderis clearing it out. Zhlugtov is going after it, and Barber did some neat back-checking. Big Zhlugtov. Up on the wing it goes to Kapustin. Robinson watching back and then watching Kapustin. In goes Babinov. Barber out over the line. Lost it quickly. Balderis. Fedorov. He takes a look. The pass goes up to Zhlugtov over the line with Kapustin. He's bumping with Barber. Here's Barber coming down with Clark. The Flyers players in over the line. Clark to Gейni. Tretьяk was in front of that one. He didn't have a chance to move, but he was in the right spot at the right time. There's a face-off about to take place in Soviet territory.
Good scoring chance. It's 4-2 for Team NHL over the Soviets. 5:56 left in the second period. Bobby, a good scoring chance.
Another case, too, the man turning away from Clark inside that blue line and letting him go, and Clark made a great play to Bobby Gейni, and Tretьяk made a great save.
Well, here's a better look at it, Bob.
Watch him. Stick checking. In your end, that'll kill you every time.
So the NHL Stars defending over the line for the faceoff. To the far side, in front of the net. Bilялетдинов got it up. It comes to the line finally, and Lefleur tipped it back into the center ice area. Bilялетdinov again. Now it's over on the far side. Skvortsov got it up on the wing, and it's repelled in by Colvin. Now into the corner. Savard played it off the boards. Bilялетdinov goes back there. He has it, and he whipped the pass into the center ice area. Varnakov. His pass intercepted. It's shot over the line. Draw pass to Dion. Dion is getting in close. He fired it! And a remarkable save by Tretьяк. Tretьяk has pulled off perhaps his best save since the series so far in this second period. He was not too brilliant in the first. And of course he let in perhaps the self-goal in the second, but he's looked sharper of late. Now the Soviets coming back in. There's Shatz. Skvortsov, I think it is he who has been checked. Is that number 11?
Barry Beck is going to get the penalty on the play, and it is number 11, Skvortsov, the player who was shaken up by Beck, but Beck heads to the penalty box. The Challenge Cup is coming to you live from New York. Alexander Skvortsov, number 11 of the Soviet national team, being attended to by the Soviet trainer. That comes as a result of the check thrown at him by Barry Beck, who has been penalized for boarding at 15:07 here in the second period.
So the Soviets, with their awesome power play, have an opportunity again, so let us see what will eventuate here. They need a goal to get back within one. It's 4-2 for the Stars. Starikov, he hands it off. Tюменев to Mikhailov, over to Petrov. Four Soviets over the line. Petrov takes a look. He fires a long, high pass, and it's over the glass.
They're setting up the basketball chant defense here in Madison Square Garden. Bit of a basketball flavor to the introductions. If you were listening, you heard Bobby Clark introduce it from the Philadelphia 76ers. Well, they play here too, I guess. Understandable. Once in a while.
A minute and 39 seconds left in the penalty as Savard digs to the corner against Mikhailov. Now it's at the lip of the crease and Dryden to Geinie, and he sweeps it down on the left side. Soviets back there to regroup, get their power play into operation. Up on the right side they go. Petrov over the line to Mikhailov. Back it goes to Vasiliev. Over to Starikov. He takes a look. In it goes to the other side to Petrov. Now here's Starikov. What is he going to do? He looks. Gets it over to Vasiliev. Now Vasiliev stars with that block to the side of the net. It's center right out in front. Went off Savard's stick. Now Petrov off the stick. Starikov has it again. He's back at the point. He takes a look. Here's Vasiliev faking the shot. He lets it go. Kicked out by Dryden. Vasiliev. He has it again. Takes a look. Will it go to the other side? It does. Now they look. Back to Vasiliev again. Into the corner. They get in front. It went off Starikov's stick. Tюменев missed it. Vasiliev. He can't keep it in. And there are 22 seconds left in the penalty. Up there forechecking and doing a masterful job is Geinie. Now the Soviets coming up. Here's Petrov at center. He hopped over the line. Petrov turning, takes a look. Petrov is getting set. He set it. Mikhailov scores! What a beautiful setup. Mikhailov.
Oh, he could put that puck only one place, Bobby. That was up high over Dryden's left shoulder, and that's where he put it.
Petrov makes a great play to him here. Up high over his shoulder. It's a matter of time. They power play. They like to work it in. They like to get it over the blue line, slow it down, work it around, and it was a matter of time. They've got such a potent power play. It was just a matter of time.
Came just 6 seconds before the expiration of the penalty. It was their second shot on the power play, but they controlled it. So Mikhailov scores his second goal of the series, and we've got a one-goal hockey game this afternoon right now, 4-3. The NHL in the lead.
Boris Mikhailov.
Got that shot away so quickly, Daddy.
Fantastic. You know, I'd love to see a player with that wrist shot, Bobby Orr.
They all have great wrist shots.
minutes and 2 seconds the time of the goal. Just the one goal separating the teams now. Golikhov's pass is gobbled up by Barber. Barber cleared it to the line. Fedorov flipped it and it's over the glass. Line, Varlamov, Mikhailov, and Petrov, they're getting a little long in the tooth.
Well, they've been around for a while. I can remember them in 72 and they were the stars of that series for the Soviets.
They're still tremendously dangerous. Now the puck in the Stars zone is cleared to the right side. Lefleur couldn't get anywhere against Fedorov. Robinson playing it to Barber. He couldn't make contact down the ice. Fedorov is back, and it is icing against the Stars.
Bobby, a lot of people might be wondering about the lack of offense on the part of Team NHL. Only 11 shots near the end of the second period.
Well, I don't think that we're getting over center ice and throwing it in and forechecking like we did the other night. The other night we were throwing it in and forechecking the heck out of them, and they didn't know how to handle the forechecking. And they're doing that to us this afternoon. They're throwing it in, they're keeping their defense in, and we're having a few problems.
That last Soviet goal on the power play at 17:02, Mikhailov and Petrov and Vasilia.
So this face-off to the left of Dryden, Zhluktov-Kapustin, and the other player is Balderis. He's back at the rim of the circle. There's a shot. They score! Kapustin! And it is a tie hockey game.
Well, one thing the NHL's been doing up to now is controlling face-offs in the majority, but not there, Bobby, and it cost them dearly.
I think it goes off Salming's leg. He doesn't hesitate, bang. It's off Salming's leg, and Kenny didn't have a chance on it.
Two quick ones by the Soviets, and we've got a tie hockey game. It's 4-4.
I noticed it was not Balderis out there, but they had sent Mikhailov up.
Well, they're matching lines. I've never seen the Soviets do this, and they're doing it today and doing it very well.
45 seconds, the separation in time of the two goals. Houston's second goal. Now here's Barber. Barber working his way in and is called on the offside.
Well, there he is, Kapustin with his second goal of the hockey game from Zhluktov at 17:47. And Bobby, with the Soviets getting the two quick ones to tie it, you look back to the save Tretьяк made off Dion.
That was the big one. That
would have been a 5-2 hockey game right there.
Things start to turn.
It is Geinie into Barber. Geinie cruising against Bilялетдинов. They get tied up. Now it comes off the glass to the left side. Kapustin coming down. Balderis takes it. Balderis passes it back. Zhluktov takes a shot. It's off a leg. Beck's leg in front. And the Stars knock it to the center. Here's Barber clearing it in against Pervukin. Geinie getting it back to Beck. Beck takes his time. Now it is Savard. Savard goes to the left side. He tried to hit his man at the line, Gillies, but couldn't.
I'll talk with one of today's NHL reserves, Anders Hedberg from the New York Rangers, and with NHL referee-in-chief Scotty Morrison. Howie Meeker will have highlights of a very wide-open period. The Soviets controlling again and are now even at 4.
Lining up for the face-off. It's outside of the Soviets line, 1 minute and 19 seconds. Left in the second period. Each team with 4 goals. There's Dennis Potvin. Ahead to Gillis. He lost it. Vasiliev ahead up on the left side. Varnakov couldn't get it. Here is Kovin going in. He tried to slide the pass in front. Stars knocking it to the wing down the ice. And now we have less than a minute to go in the second period. Guy Lapointe having difficulty against Kovin. Skvortsov coming in. Hit by Dennis Potvin over on the other side. Now Varnakov dropping it back. Vasiliev shooting it. It went off a player or Dryden and went wide. Kovin behind the net. Loses it to Trottier. Skvortsov tried to check him. Skvortsov getting it back. Varnakov a shot. The rebound. Gillies clearing it. Skvortsov going after it again. And the Stars are forced to roll it down into Soviet territory. Starikov up to the line. Here's Mikhailov, a shot. Dryden had no difficulty with that. It's centered in front. And Petrov almost directed it to the upper left-hand corner. pressure on as we move into the final 8 seconds of the second period. Now Starikov out to center. Tюменев trying to corral it. Here's Sittlер, and that's the end of the period. So at the end of 2 periods, it's tied at 4.
Well, a very one-sided end of the period, Danny, as the Soviets totally control the Team NHL. Here's that last one. It did get through to Dryden as it came in from the point and deflected off Dryden up over the net. And you see the shots on goal, 21-10 through the first 2 periods. And I think the big story of the hockey game, at least as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that Team NHL, with all of that firepower, has been held to just 10 shots. And they can perhaps consider themselves fortunate. 10 shots, and 4 of them have gone in, as Tretьяк has been shaky. But he did make the big save off Dion when it was 4-2, and shortly thereafter the Soviets scored twice. In that second period, the shots on goal, the Soviets 14 and the NHL 5. And so the score at the end of the second period. 4-4, a tie hockey game. This is game 2 for the Challenge Cup.
Thank you very much, Dick. And this third period, the most important period to date in the series. What happens in this period could very well determine the final outcome of the series. So there you have the summary of the hockey game in the second period. Perro and Robinson are the stars. Varnakov, Mikhailov, and Kapustin for the Soviets. The shots on goal over 2 periods, 21 for the USSR and 10 for the National Hockey League. And Ron Andrews comes up with a rather interesting statistic. Shots directed at the goal. The Soviets better than 2-1 over the NHL Stars. The Soviets 39, and the National Hockey League team 17. We look at Ken Dryden.
Danny, another statistic, the face-offs, the total, there have been 57 face-offs in the game, and the NHL has won 36. That's 63% of them. But, interestingly enough, on the one in that second period, Zhluktov beat Bobby Clark and set up the goal by Kapustin. Brian Trottier has won 14 out of 15 in the hockey game. Zhluktov has lost only 1 of 9 for the Soviets.
Okay, we are ready for the start of the third period. Petrov is at center, Mikhailov on one wing, and Tюменев on the other. It's Perro, Lefleur, and Gейни, the line for the Stars. Petrov at his own line. There's a pass intercepted by Lefleur. Lefleur a back pass to Gейni, and he couldn't come up with it cleanly. Into the corner, Starikov ahead on the left side. Mikhailov tried to hit his man Tюменев that goes down the ice, and it's touched there by Salming, so that is an icing against the Soviets.
Bobby, we are seeing here, I think, what Scotty Bowman is going to do. He is going to throw an offensive lineup out there. He had Perro out there with Lefleur that time. So look at Andre Boudreau, a longtime member of the Vancouver Canucks, among other NHL teams, now working with the Players Association. And he's right down there by the bench. Now let's see, we have Dion out there with Sittler and McDonald. So Bowman is shaking up the lines, trying to get some firepower into the NHL lineup.
And for the Soviets, Kovin, Varnakov, Skvortsky. That is their line. Now on the left side, it goes down the ice into the Star zone. Savard cleared it up into the center ice area. Zhluktov. Back to Babinov. They have made a change on that line. We'll tell you about it later. Skvortsov probably was injured on that check. Zhluktov. And they've made changes. Kapustin is on now. Now Sittler is going to the line. Over the line is called to the offside. They have that complete change out there. Balderis, Zhluktov, and Kapustin.
Pick up some of that time of the Soviet bench as they yell at one another. Well, I don't know what they said, Bobby Orr, but they are up anyway. Interesting.
Now a new line. Golikov. Out there. There's a shot by Clark. Off the glove of Tretьяк. He holds it and gets the face-off in deep Soviet territory.
Now we've got Lefleur in right wing with Clark and Barber. You're going to see Lefleur get a lot of ice time, Bobby. If you look at that shot by Bobby Clark.
I would guess Guy Lefleur is going to get plenty of ice time.
Makarov is the other Soviet forward. Bilyaletdinov has it, goes into the corner. Ahead it goes. Vladimir Golikov stick to center, and it's fed back in by Lapointe. Bilyaletdinov plays it on the boards. Now it's out to center. Makarov. Back to Makarov. Makarov getting in front there. Says just they score! Vladimir Golikov. Holy Makarov.
Well, they were caught with one man back, Bobby. Denny Potvin. Again, the Soviets score on a rebound, and they've done it a couple of times here this afternoon. Lapointe was caught up the ice. You see him trying to get back. Potvin falls. And there's the rebound. Lapointe gets back, but not quickly enough as he gets turned around, and it's 5-4. The Soviets have taken the lead. Here it comes. There's the rebound. Boy, they are in the right place at the right time so often. We are seeing tremendous teamwork here today on the part of the Soviet National Club.
So now we have Kovin-Varnakov. Skvortsov is on. So he is not apparently any worse for wear as a result of that check deep in the Stars zone near the end of the second period. Skvortsov is at the line against Gillies. Now Salming at the side of the net, up on the left side. It's kept in by Vasiliev. Skvortsov along the boards. Kovin is going after it, trying to get it. It comes out in front, and the Stars start out led by Gillies. Gillies over to Bossi. Bossi digs into the corner against Vasiliev. Gillies now going after Starikov, but cleared it on the boards into the center ice area. Here is Salming playing it to Gillies. He scooped it into the other side. Bossi couldn't play it into the corner, and the Soviets come into the center ice area over the Stars line. And behind the net, Robinson playing it to the right side to Bossi. Now pass to the other side to Robinson. 5-4 for the Soviets over the Stars. Robinson fired that! And a quick glove effort by Tretьяк. Petrov is now on the ice. Robinson playing it back to Salming. It's off the leg. And Vasiliev playing it back to his own line. Tюменев is in behind the net. Taking his time. Geinie forechecking along with Perro and Lefleur. And the Soviets come out into the center ice area. Mihайлov to Tюменев. Tюменев trying to get it in front. He was bodied by Beck. The Stars Lefleur into the center ice area with Geinie. 3-on-1. And Lefleur couldn't control it. Lefleur over the other side to take. There's a shot. And it's blocked by Tretьяк. Back into the center ice area. Petrov coming down in over the line. Here's Mihайлov. A shot. It rolls into Dryden, and he covers up.
Tremendous passing by the Soviets. The Challenge Cup, the series of the century. Vladimir Golikov from Makarov, the scoring play. Bobby, here it is again.
Dennis makes the right play here. He makes the puck carrier shoot the puck. Unfortunately, the rebound went out to...
now Pervukin clearing it in. Soviets fail to hold it in. Bilyaletdinov back at his own line, played it on the other side. It's cleared in by Pervukin. Coming from the other side, Balderis behind the net. It's up on the wing. Stars fail to clear it out. Now back. Playing it in behind the net to Savard. Off the boards. It goes to Lanny McDonald. Here's Sitler at center to the Soviet line. It got by Tretьяк, and it was wide by a foot or two. 5-4 for the Soviets early in the third period. Coming down over the line, Balderis. There it goes. Kapustin trying to pick up the pass from Zlukov. The Stars led by Savard. Forward them into the center ice area. Sitler couldn't pick it up. Bilyaletdinov fired it to the other side. Now it comes over on the far right wing. Soviets rolling at the centers. Pervukin got it out. Now it's back in. Bilyaletdinov on the left side. Fired a shot. And it was blocked by Lapointe. Here's Sitler leading his way. A pass ahead on the right side of Bossi. And now it's the turn of the Stars to make changes while the play goes on. But it is icing again.
They're playing just super hockey. And no doubt our guys will come back right now.
The Golikov and Makarov, the line for the Soviets. That Islanders line for the Stars. Trottье, Gillies, and Bossi is deep in Soviet territory. Starikov is trying to pry it loose. He couldn't, so they will line up for the face-off to the right of Tretьяк.
I think we see...
As we look at the veteran Vasiliev, he's played a strong game today.
I think we see a lot of the forechecking. We're going to come up with the puck and get back into this game. Because I think that's the key to go after them in their end, and they'll get the puck up.
Now here's Dennis Potvin. He shoots, and again he doesn't miss by much. That's the second shot by the Stars in this period, not missing by too much, getting by Tretьяк. It's cleared inadvertently over the boards by Lapointe inside the Stars line.
Now, there's no doubt Guy Lapointe is finding his legs, if you will. I mentioned earlier he has not played for 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago tonight, the last time he played. But he was on Team Canada 72 and again in 76.
Now Makarov. His shot went off Potvin. Another shot by Golikov to the side. It's in the Stars zone, and it's against the boards. Face off to the left of Dryden.
Live from New York, this is the Challenge Cup.
Face off to the left of Dryden. Skvortsov lost it in the slot. Turning on the right side is Bossi. In ahead for Trottье. Trottье along the boards in the corner. They fight for possession. It's in behind Tretьяк. Soviets taking over. Skvortsov gets it out over the line. Bossi to Trottье. Trottье against Babinov. Now Varnakov gets it out. Now it's cleared down with a long shot. Skvortsov in there along the boards. They dig away the Soviets, and the Stars shoot it out and over the board.
We haven't seen much evidence, Bobby, in the game so far of that Soviet ploy of having a man hanging out by the red line. Balderis in particular. I don't imagine what's the lead now in the Soviet favor, 5-4. We'll see much of it for the rest of this game.
Well, they've changed a little bit. Scotty had the middle cut off, so now they're going to the board. So that's why you're not seeing those guys out in center ice.
It is Bobby Clark now at center on the wings, Lefleur and Schott. The Stars clearing at the center, broken up by the Soviets. Bilyaletdinov finally got it back to Mikhailov, who swings and turns inside the line. Bilyaletdinov playing it on the left side. Mikhailov chasing it in over the Stars line, laying into Robinson. Now at the line, there's a shot by Pervukin. And Dryden had to be very alert. It wasn't hard, but it was right on the target and partially screened. Dryden picking off a sharp angle shot from the boards from the stick of Pervukin. Holds on.
Well, there's our friend, Mr. Ozerov, the Soviet broadcaster, as he does his thing. This game is being beamed back to the Soviet Union, and he does it again from ice level here at Madison Square Garden. And he never lets himself get very far away from the Soviet bench. Or have I got that right? Or which side is he on? He must be on the same side we are.
I think he's right down.
Yeah, that's right.
He's right down in front of us.
So this huge crowd of over 17,000, most of them rooting for the NHL Stars, are getting a bit apprehensive with the score 5-4 for the Soviets. From the faceoff, Beck in the corner. He cleared it ahead. It's out to center. Here's Lanny McDonald firing it off the stick of Sittler, who is being tied up by Kapustin. Sittler taken into the boards rather heavily. They play for possession. Fluktoff ahead on the left side. And Kapustin knocked it out. Now at the line. Savard ahead to Lanny McDonald. A good move by McDonald. He shot it from a sharp angle wide. Here's Beck taking a shot. Up to Gейни. Gейni couldn't get a shot. He was turning around against Vasiliev. Soviets headman that puck. They couldn't negotiate contact. Now Savard playing it in on the right side, and that is an offside.
There's the clock. Something is...
No, they switch ends.
What clock's still going, though, Bob?
Still going.
I think something went wrong with the clock, and now they are trying to correct it. so we're going to have a bit of a delay. Gives me a chance to remind you that the Moscow 1980 Olympic coin program is presenting to a star in each game a silver coin set. The coins include themes of Moscow and Leningrad and are the official Olympic coins for the 1980 Games in Moscow. Now there's Aggie Kuklowitz, along with Dombrowski, as they sort this one out. Now they have it straightened out. 12:40 left here in the hockey game.
And it is 5-4 for the Soviets. The Golikov and Makarov, the forward line for the Soviets. We have Perro-Sittlers, Lefleur for the Stars. There's the long pass for Lefleur. Fedorov going in, and that is an icing against the NHL.
I hear sounds like a boo almost when Lefleur is involved, but the fans have picked up a chant. Gee.
Pretty difficult booing that hockey player right there. 100% every night. He just does everything.
On the face-off, and LaPointe clearing it up on the left side. Bабinov trying to pick it up. He couldn't. Perro cleared it out over the line. Fedorov to Alexander Golikov. He shoots it in, and his brother Vladimir, along with Makarov, move in. But the Stars, Perro took a Dion pass. Here's Perro. He has that great speed. Perro around the net, trying to center it, and Tretьяк got his stick on it. The Soviets get clear of it. Golikov, Alexander shooting it into the Stars zone. Potvin to Perro. His pass is blocked. Bабinov laying it back to his own line. There's Fedorov. Now at the line, Lefleur passing it out to Perro. And the Soviets doing an excellent checking job here. They're staying right on top of the Stars. Soviets with a 1-goal lead. They move in there. Makarov is after Perro. Alexander Golikov tried to get it, but it's under Perro. Soviets, everybody up. Bilялетdinov and Pervukin on the point. Pervukin shot is blocked. Skvortsov tried to get it. Now number 10, Varnakov couldn't. Salming cleared it to the left side. Varnakov in behind the net. Here's Salming turning. Skvortsov was after him up on the left side to Gillies. He tipped it to center. 5-4 in the third period for the Soviets. Gillies racked his man up along the boards. It was Kovin, number 9. He got up. And now he's skating over for the faceoff. 10:55. That's the time left in the third period. Remember, as Dick mentioned, if this game is tied, there's no question of any overtime in this game. But should the series be tied, let's say, a victory apiece and the score tied at the end, the third period tomorrow, there would be overtime to decide the series victory. Now it's Salming back into his own zone, and it's icing against the Soviets.
Now he's going with the offensive players here, Bobby, although, funnily enough, Steve Shutt hasn't seen any action in this period. He had Lefleur with Dion and Perro. He has got the Islanders line out there now.
Well, he needs goals, Dick, so obviously you go with your offensive players. But the NHL All-Stars just have to be careful now, a little careful. They're down 1 goal. There's still 10 minutes and 42 seconds to go, so just be careful. Don't try to force it too much, and then who knows what's going to happen. But they should be very careful right now.
It is Starikov around the net. He fires it. Bossi tipped it back in for Trottier. There's Gillies into the corner with Vasiliev. Trottier tried to get it, and the Soviets start out. Alexander Golikov. Now it's back into the center ice area. There's Petrov. Over on the far side to Robinson, and it's called on the offside. Talking about the prospects of overtime in the series. If this game should end in a tie, then the game tomorrow, if the Soviets win it, or leading by 6 or 7 at the end of 3 periods, there's still overtime.
There's overtime tomorrow night, yes.
10-17 remaining in the third period. 5-4, Soviets in front. Tюменев He's up front with Mikhailov and Petrov. There's Mikhailov along the boards, in behind the net. Savard, he tipped it up on the wing. Vasilia knocked it back in. He jammed Savard in on the board. Mikhailov fell. Back to the point it goes to Starikov. Mikhailov couldn't pick it up behind the net, and Savard has it. Past the center, stopped by Petrov. Tюменев coming in on that right side for the Soviets. Backhand shot, and it's Dryden covering up.
Tюменев didn't play the other night, but he's put on a pretty good show here today. You are watching the Series of the Century live from Madison Square Garden.
Now Clark goes to center, and the wings are Barber and Geyni, Zhluktov, Balderis, and Kapustin for the Soviets. Fedorov on defense with Babinov. Puck is in the star zone. They jam in on the board. There's a pass. Geyni finally picking it up, feeding up on the left side. Babinov is back there against Geyni. Geyni trying to get it to pass it off. He falls. Here's Barber trying to center. Geyni, and he had difficulty against Kapustin. It's kept in by Clark. Clark takes a weak shot, blocked by Tretьяк. Geyni trying to pass it out, and again he was checked very closely. It's cleared down the ice. Beck is back there after it, and it's icing against the Soviets.
Good job there, Bobby, by Barry Beck, because he was matched against Balderis, and I'll tell you, Big Barry turned it on as best he could, and he won the race.
I don't think Balderis was too interested in going in the corner with Barry Beck.
Right.
Beck can skate. He can skate. He's a big man. He skates. He moves very, very well. He's got a great shot. He's just a great all-around hockey player. There he is.
Now, the Dion Perro-Lefleur combination out there again, along with Potvin and Lapointe.
Comes in front of the net. Vladimir Golikov shooting it to the corner. Alexander, his brother, in against Lapointe. Lefleur against Makarov on the board. It's loose. In behind the net. Up on the left side. Perro to Potvin. He couldn't control it. Lapointe playing it to the line. Not out. Golikov cleared it in front. It's knocked away. Now Perro. Ahead to Dion into the center ice area. Back to Perro to Soviet territory. Along the boards, they fight for it to the right of Tretьяк to the other side. Pervukin got clear of it down the ice. No icing on this. Dryden feeding it to Potvin on the other side. Now it's loose in behind the net to Lapointe. Lefleur is turning on the right wing at center. Dion, Lefleur, Perro. As the Soviets get it, and it's called for a gloved pass.
Well, territorially in this period, the NHL has been doing just a little bit better, but nevertheless, they have been outshot exactly 2-1 by the Soviets to this part of the hockey game. 28-14, the margin. 7 minutes and 58 seconds remaining here in the third period.
Face off in the center ice area. And Dryden finds some sort of debris in front of his net, and the linesman Pavlich is picking it up, and that's holding up proceedings for the month, but it will be short-lived, I am sure. 7:58 left in the hockey game. 9 goals scored, 5 by the Soviets. At one time, the Soviets were down 3-1, another time 4-2. But they had a tremendous resurgence late in the second period, scoring 2 quick goals to tie it. Here's shot over the line. He cleared it into the corner. Starikov failed to shoot it out. Vasiliev, the veteran, to the other side. It goes. Varnakov out over the line. Puts it on the brakes. Goes back to the line. And it's cleared in. Could be a delayed offside here against the Stars. But it's lugged out successfully by the Soviets. And Vasiliev cleared it ahead. And it's called to the offside.
This is live coverage of game number 2 for the Challenge Cup.
Comes close.
Exactly 7.5 minutes to play in the third period, 5-4 for the Soviets. Dan Kelly is not with us today. He's working on CBS. He'll be back with us tomorrow night. Now there's Kovin coming out. He shoots it ahead for Varnakov on the other side. Skvortsov. It doesn't go over there. The Stars getting it. It's into the center ice area. Here's Chuck over the line. Checked by Vasilev. They go to the corner. Around the net. Starikov clearing it, but not out. There's a shot by Sittlers to the short side. Sittlers dumped by Starikov. They fight for possession in behind Tretьяк and a face-off in deep Soviet territory.
Perro-Sittlер back at center ice right there between Steve Shutt and Lanny McDonald. In the penalty department, the NHL Stars have received 3 penalties. The Soviets just 1. And when the Soviets player Kovin was off in the first period, Bossi scored on the power play. One of the Soviet goals, Mikhailov's goal in the second period, came on a Soviet power play.
Now it's Beck taking a shot, and a screen shot wide. Here's Beck again, trapping it at the point. In it goes behind the net. Fedorov clearing it on the right side. They jam in on the boards, and they get a whistle and a face-off again. In Soviet territory in Bobby-Orr, the time has come for all the pressure that the Stars can put on the Soviets to take place.
Pull all the plugs out now, Dan. 6:41 to go. They're calling the play outside.
Well, obviously at fault was a member of the Stars. He was responsible for the stoppage in play. Petrov at center, Mikhailov and Tюменев on the wing. Now Babinov clears it on the right side into the center ice area. Beck stopped it. Soviets getting it again. Mikhailov, the veteran, coming in, swings to the other side, gives it to Petrov. He dropped it to Tюменев. Tюменев trying to center it. Tюменев in the corner, center it. There's a shot by Petrov. And what a glorious scoring opportunity that was for the Soviets. I want to see that again to see whether Dryden got a piece of it as he kicked out that right leg. Now the puck into the center ice area. Tюменев is in over the line. The drop pass. There's the shot by Petrov. And he unleashes a booming blast. And Dryden made the save.
Well, this number 21, Boris Tюменев, didn't play the other night. He's taken over for the injured Arlamov today. And Bobby, he's put on quite a show. He can handle the puck.
He's having a whale of a game. He didn't play the other night. I guess they've been hiding him on us. They didn't want to have everyone out there Thursday night. But he's played a fine game.
And Dryden has faced 30 shots to date in the hockey game. Here we are, one of the young fans of the 17,000 plus here for this afternoon game at Madison Square Garden.
Dion facing off against Zhluktov. The Stars, Potvin laying it on the board, backtracking his Perro. He fell, gives it to Potvin. Long pass to Lefleur, he couldn't pick it up. Here's Kapustin. He has 2 goals for the Soviets. He swings that pass to the right side, and Balderis is back there for it. Balderis to Zhluktov. Zhluktov being hounded by Perro. He missed Dion with the pass. Here's Lefleur going in. Kapustin into the corner. Bodied by Lefleur. Soviets clearing it out, and it's knocked back in on the offside. Lefleur has been doing some bodybuilding in this series.
Well, he can hit.
The Challenge Cup is coming to you live from New York. Madison Square Garden in New York. 5-4, the Soviets leading Team NHL. And at the conclusion of our telecast, Rod Gilbert, the former Ranger star, will present today's Molson Awards to the top players on the 2 teams here today.
The Golikovs and Makarov, the line for the Soviets. Perro, Lefleur, and Dion still on there for the Stars. Starikov wends his way down on the left side. Rolled it gently to the Stars line. LePointe knocking it up on the left side. Now it's back Potvin to Perro. Back to Potvin. He's an excellent working defenseman. A good move by Potvin. Potvin is in over the line. Takes the shot. It goes to far side. Here's Lefleur. Back to LePointe. Perro getting it. He sent it in front. Vasiliev stopped it. Now into the corner, Starikov. LePointe has it there. He ripped that shot off the corner boards, and there He bumps along the board with Makarov. Starikov has it. He shoots it ahead to Alexander Golikov. It's back to LaPointe at the Stars line to Potvin, who had that last beautiful rush for the Stars. Here is LaPointe clearing it in. Fedorov knocked it out to the line. Coming at the line, an excellent move by Makarov. He shoots it to the corner. The Soviet strategy, shoot it in there, move up, tie up the All-Stars if they can, neutralize their speed to protect the 5-4 lead. That is the obvious strategy of the Soviets. Now the puck in the center ice area. Clark couldn't get anywhere. Here's Potvin at the line. He collided with Gainie. Golikov. Over it goes. Skvortsov took a shot. Driving a big save. Soviets making changes where the play goes on. Face off to the right of Dryden. That was a quick shot by Skvortsov. He had just come out of the ice.
There it is. Good stop by Dryden. The whistle went right after that. I don't know why. Maybe gloved ahead, I guess. Well, all right. We'll stick with our sign maker. 3:44 left. Time definitely becoming a factor. And we'll keep our eye on Dryden as the minutes tick away here in the closing stages of this game.
And we have Kovin along with Varnakov out there to join Skvortsov. There's a shot off the leg. Gainie can't clear it out. The Soviets with a weak shot by Varnakov. Skvortsov tried to center it. Salming clearing it to the left side ahead of him of the spectators. 3:31 left in the third period. 5-4 USSR over the NHL.
Probably the shots directed at the goal. 11-8 in this period favor the Soviets. But Team NHL has not had really any good belts at Tretьяк in this third period. The shots aren't really on the target.
Babinov and Fedorov out of your picture. They are the defensemen for the Soviets, well in over the Stars line. Robinson up on the left side to Gainie. He has Clark and Barber with him. 3 Stars. Here's Gainie turning on the jet. Gainie in over the line. Takes a shot. It rolls generously for the Stars off the body and dangerously by Tretьяк. Face off. It was held against the boards with Gainie falling. Face off apparently now will be in the Soviet zone.
Oh, it's been a Soviet-dominated game. The shots on goal 31-14, over 2-1. The shots directed toward the goal 50-25. I think that's 26 now with that Gainie shot right there. So it has been definitely a big afternoon and a big game for the team in the red sweaters.
Now the Stars, everybody up. Soviets get the draw. They shoot it down into Stars territory. Savard ripped it off the boards, but that was just giving it to Bilялетdinov, who fired it to the other side. It was cleared in. And back it comes into the center ice area. Gillies rolling it to the corner. Number 5 is Pervukin. Oh, he was belted. Now it's cleared on the left side. That was a solid check by Potier. And it is a case of the Soviets now being called for icing, and that could militate against them if they start to shoot it down the ice, and the Stars get the chance for the face-off in the Soviet zone.
A lot of goals have been scored off the face-off, Danny, and a couple have been scored today off the face-off, so they're very important. Start icing the puck, big face-offs in the Soviet end.
Okay, Bobby. Bobby, has anybody asked you during this period, how are you enjoying retirement?
Well, I'm enjoying it. I realize I can no longer play, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing, but I'd much rather be out in the ice.
Enjoy it better this afternoon if the score was reversed.
Well, yeah, I'm getting a little depressed.
Now, into the corner. Here's Trottier, right in front of the goal. And Tretьяк came out before Trottier could properly cradle it to get the shot.
He couldn't see any daylight, Bobby, I'm sure, on that one, because Brian held on to the puck. Here's the chance. Oh, see, no chance. See?
No.
Blocked up there.
Blocked up.
Gillies down on his knees, the defense man with him, and I guess Brian took a look, couldn't see the net.
Now here's Potvin shooting it. It's off the stick, over the glass, in behind Tretьяк.
Exactly 2.5 minutes left. Keep in mind, with NHL rules applying, that a timeout can be called. 30-second timeout.
2.5 minutes minutes left. It's swept in by Salming. Pervukin lays it on the board. 5-4 the score. For the Soviets, there's a shot by Tretьяк, and he whistled it hard around the net. The angle was fairly sharp. Now it's cleared down the ice by Petrov, and it'll be a face-off again in deep Soviet territory. It surprises me that they are icing that puck.
Well, we had a good scoring chance. The NHL All-Stars had a good scoring chance off the last face-off, and hopefully we'll get another one right here.
Danny, it's the fifth time the Soviets have iced the puck in the third period. But it's still 5-4. The Soviets ahead by 1. 2:07 as time becomes an even greater factor right now.
And it's Lefleur, Clark, Sitttler, Robinson, and Lapointe. They are all in over that Soviet line. Balderis-Jluktov and Kapustin for the Soviets. It's cleared back to the point. Lapointe shoots it back. It's around the net to Vasiliev. Ahead. And Kapustin lugged it into the center ice area. It's off his stick. Lapointe chops the pass over to Robinson, the big bird. Ahead for Clark. A bouncing puck knocked down by Vasiliev. He played it off the boards, out over the line, cleared in, offside, and a minute and 42 seconds left in the game.
Well, the players of the game have been announced. 3 of the Molson Awards. Vasiliev of the Soviets, Tretьяк of Team NHL, and Rod Gilbert will make the official presentation at the conclusion of the play here today. Well, the 2 coaches as the wheel turns.
Just wondering if they take the goalie out and Kapustin puts it in for a hat trick.
The problem with the ice, it hasn't been as big a problem in that regard, Bobby, as we thought. Maybe that was just something being thrown on the ice. Seems to have held up pretty well. People were a little concerned about it.
I'm a little surprised with the ice that it's held up like it has.
Face off outside the Soviet line. No change in that alignment for the Stars. The Soviets in over the line. Vasiliev, a shot that went off the glove of Dryden. Now the Soviets moving in there. Zlukov, Balderis. Now a long rink-wide pass up there to Clark. Clark ahead for Lefleur. Goes off Vasiliev. Lefleur upended by Vasiliev. And the crowd reacted on that one. Soviets rolling it into the center ice area. Now Sitttler couldn't pick it up. Ahead, Zlukov on the right side. He's a big fellow. Zlukov getting it in front. Balderis was shot. Here's Sitttler coming out over the line. 1 minute left. Lefleur at the line. He couldn't get over the line. Finally feeds it ahead. Dryden started out, but he went back. Now Perro coming in. He did not wait long enough. 47 seconds left. And Dryden in that familiar pose is 15 feet in front of the net.
Well, Scotty has motioned to him. There you see Ken Dryden waiting for word from the coach of Team NHL. Scotty rather calm, cool, and collected externally right now as he sorts things out. And we do have a timeout called, I believe. Soviets have outshot Team NHL 10-5 in this third period. And somebody, they haven't made the announcement, I don't think, but I think we've got a timeout call. Hard to tell which team because they both went to the bench, but I'm sure it was Scotty Bowman. There's Tikhonov, the Soviet national coach, who continues to stand in front of his players in the players' bench area in the Soviet style, or certainly at least in his style. Well, there you see it, 47 seconds left and a lot of talking. What's happening? That's the Soviet bench. Into the Soviet zone.
Touching. Right on with Salming is cleared in, and Dryden goes to the bench. 6 attackers for the Stars. They pile into the corner, and they're going to get what they were looking for.
That's right.
Face off in deep Soviet territory. This is going to be an exciting windup. And let's pick up the attackers out there, Dick, before I pass it over to you and Bobby. We have Lefleur, Gillies, Salming, Potvin. We have Tretьяк, and I
what they were supposed to do. Got a face-off in the Soviet end. And Trotsky's not a bad face-off man either.
And now the Soviets defending for them. They have Bilялетдинов out there. The Golikov. Now Golikov, Vladimir cleared it. Off puck and taken it down into the star zone. That was a big play for the Soviets. Back it comes. Here's Lefleur. And he couldn't get anywhere against Bilялетдинов, and it was cleared over the boards outside the Soviet line, and we're down to 26 seconds.
There's a two-line pass on the outside. Let's give the Soviet bench.
To Europe for a change. They can watch it at a reasonable hour at 8 o'clock Moscow time, starting here at 2 or 2:15. So they can watch the game and still go for dinner or whatever they do over there. Bobby, you were over there.
Canadian
on Saturday night.
Team NHL net is still empty. Just about sit there, Danny.
So we have Dion, Perro. It's out over the line. Robinson up on left side. He shoots it into Soviet territory. Dion against Pervukin in the corner. They jam in there. And with 18 seconds, another big face-off. This time to the left of Tretьяк.
This time, Bobby, they better control the puck.
Well, we had it off the face-off last time. I think it was Trottier, and he tried to pass it back to the point and roll off the end of his stick. But here comes Bobby Clark. Sure be taking the draw. One of the greatest in the game at taking the draw.
And number 10, Lefleur is poised. There he is. If it comes back, he'll whip it. It's into the corner. Pervukin playing it on the board. Petrov trying to get the play stopped. Pervukin takes it to the corner, using up second, and that brings it down to a total of 9. So the Stars are getting the opportunities with these face-offs in Soviet territory, but the Soviets are not giving them an opportunity to get any good shots.
Dion taking over from Salmi on the right side.
From the face-off, here's Lefleur. Takes a shot off the board. Tough man. There's the shot blocked by Tretьяк. It's centered to scramble in front. Clear down the ice. Wide, and the game is over. A great comeback by the Soviets, and on the play of the day, you'd have to say the Soviets were a better hockey club.
Well, the shots ended up 31-16, and they definitely outplayed the All-Stars today, but I'm sure the Stars will do a lot of thinking tonight, and tomorrow night it'll be a little different story.
Well, there is Tretьяk, who got off to the very shaky start, but he was not tested all that severely throughout the game, especially in the latter stages. The shots on goal in the final period, 14-6 in favor of the Soviets, 31-15 overall. And when you hold Team NHL to 15 shots, you have played some hockey game, and that's exactly what the Soviet national team has done here in New York this afternoon, as the players from both teams on what some of the Soviet commentators have referred to as a friendly series. It's a little more than that, I am sure. The refereeing, let's establish this, was not a factor in today's game.
I thought he called a great game.
The play of the Soviets was a factor. So it's 5-4. It all boils down to tomorrow night. Live from New York, this is the Challenge Cup.